Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back your lovely faces to another fact-finding video. Today we're going to be taking a look at 8 things you may or may not know about Batman 1989. But before we do that, I would like to thank today's video sponsor, Traffic Puzzle. Traffic Puzzle is a free-to-play mobile game which contains all the best elements of puzzles and match the 3 symbols. Blend that together with cars, ambulances, and even helicopters. You have this amazingly fun game. During the course of the game, each level can become harder than the previous. Like on this level, I have to clear the helipad so 3 helicopters can land safely. There is a whole host of things that you can do, which is not just move the cars. You assist the police, fire trucks and ambulances to get them to their destinations. You can play the game by yourself or with friends. Another thing I do like about this game is that it helps you train your brain. Working out the ways to move the vehicles and matching the colours of them keeps your brain active and working, so your brain doesn't slouch. So what are you waiting for? Download Traffic Puzzle today via the link in the description box or my pinned comment below. Who knows, you may end up becoming top of the worldwide leaderboard. Traffic Puzzle is available to download for free on iOS and Android devices. In 1989, Batman took the world by storm. It became known as Batmania. You couldn't turn a corner in any major city in the world without seeing the Batman emblem emblazoned onto something. The movie became a huge hit and at the time was seen as an unstoppable force, becoming the 5th highest movie in history at that time. It stayed number 1 at the box office for 6 weeks. Sit back and enjoy as we look at 8 things you may or may not know about Batman. 8. Home video release started a current trend. When VHS became popular in the late 70s to the early 80s, movies released in theatres normally took anywhere between 6 months to a year before they were released on home video. When Batman was released into theatres June of 1989, they decided to release the movie 5 months later, with it being available for the mother of all gift giving, Christmas. With a price tag of $24.95, it was one of the most sold products of that year. This was unheard of back in the 80s. Movie companies always used to make a huge song and dance when a home release was coming. There was commercials, billboards, ads in every single newspaper, magazine that was on the rack. With Warner Home Media doing this, it began a trend that carries to this day. 7. Jack Nicholson wasn't the only choice. It's been widely known for decades that Robin Williams was offered the role for the Joker, but this was due to Jack Nicholson being hesitant on the role. So Warner's reached out to Williams, who accepted the role and was reportedly going around saying it was the role of a lifetime, that he had always wanted to play the Joker. Shortly after, Nicholson said he would do the role. Williams was pushed aside for Jack. However, Williams and Nicholson weren't the only actors on the table. Among the considerations, apart from Williams and Nicholson, you had Willem Dafoe, James Woods, Brad Dourif, and David Bowie. The acting list it considers shows how serious the producers were taking this movie, and were not going for the campiness of the 1960s TV show. One of the funniest stories regarding Jack Nicholson taking the role was on Tim Burton riding a horse. Trying to get Nicholson to say yes, he invited the producers and Tim Burton to go horseback riding in Aspen, Colorado. Burton said he had never gone riding before, to which Goober, one of the producers, told him, "You do today." Burton reluctantly agreed, and soon after, Nicholson agreed to the role. For one of the producers, Michael Uslan, the man responsible for this movie going into production in the late 70s, only wanted Nicholson and no one else. However, when Keaton was cast as Batman, he had to be convinced by Burton that they weren't going to be taking a step back towards the 60s TV show. 6. The Batman main theme saved Danny Elfman. The music of 89's Batman is either controversial or a masterpiece, depending on who you ask. Prince did a tie-in soundtrack full of songs that were used throughout the movie, to which Nicholson dances along to Party Man, while him and his goons destroy the museum artwork. But this album was hit and miss for people, even though it was a huge commercial success. On the flip side of that coin, the theatrical score, written and composed by Danny Elfman, working on his third Tim Burton movie at this time, was nervous as he had never worked on a production this large in budget and scale. Producer Jon Peters was very skeptical on hiring Elfman, but was convinced when he heard the main theme for the movie. The theme is now considered one of the greatest movie themes of all time, and compilations of the theme were used for the 1992 Batman the Animated Series. When the movie was being shot in the United Kingdom, Elfman was displeased with the audio mixing of his film score, and he is quoted as saying, "Batman was done in England by technicians who didn't care, and the non-caring showed. I'm not putting England down because they've done gorgeous dubs there, but this particular crew elected not to." For a bit of extra trivia, the Batman TV serial of 1943, the sound actually starts out like Elfman's. 5. Tim Burton has Beetlejuice to thank for Batman. The young up-and-coming director only had 2 films under his belt when he was asked to take on the dark superhero movie. Due to making Warner Brothers a hefty chunk of movie money with Pee-wee Big Adventure and the horror comedy Beetlejuice, the brothers Warner decided to give him a shot at Batman. He often clashed with the movie producers Goober and Peters, more so with Peters, as he would often try to rein in Burton's creativity and offer advice that wasn't in tone with the movie. When Burton cast Michael Keaton as Batman, however, Peters was on his side. Peters had seen an early screening of Keaton's movie Clean and Sober, which inspired Peters to have him for the role. It wasn't really until Beetlejuice made money and won the Academy Award for Best Makeup and the overall praise that this movie garnered that the producers calmed down and let Burton do what he wanted within reason. It wouldn't be until Batman Returns 3 years later that Burton had total creative freedom. 4. The casting criticism. Up until the release of Batman '89, the only live-action iteration of Batman was Adam West's portrayal from the 1960s TV show and movie. When the movie was ramping up and getting ready to shoot, the casting of Michael Keaton was a huge controversy, the complete opposite to Jack Nicholson's casting. Keaton was best known for his comedy roles, especially that his last movie was the classic horror Beetlejuice. Due to this, Warner Brothers received more than 50,000 letters, all complaining about the casting of Keaton. We just need to be thankful that the internet wasn't a thing back then for people to go and get creative. The criticism wasn't just from the fans, but also fellow actor Adam West, who portrayed Batman. West publicly complained about Keaton being hired, due to him not even being considered for the role. Back in '88, when the movie was being made, West would have been 60 years of age. In his 1994 autobiography, West is stated as, "Despite belief to the contrary, I was never asked to make a cameo appearance as Thomas Wayne. I would have declined the offer if it was made to me anyway." This comment is thought to have been made due to Burton and the producers not asking him to portray the Caped Crusader. According to reports and fact-finders online, the world were going to get their first look at the movie, including the Joker, Batman, the Batmobile and the world of Gotham, in April of '89, 2 months before the release date. This was going to be done via magazines, posters, a trailer and merchandise. However, in order to combat negative rumours and also the casting of Keaton, a trailer was quickly assembled to be distributed to theatres in late '88. The movie didn't actually go into production until October of '88, so this does show that they were quick on the mark to get a trailer out. The trailer was shown at a theatre in Westwood, California to an unsuspecting audience. The 90-second trailer received a standing ovation. The trailer was then released nationwide, and it became such a popular trailer that bootlegs were being sold at comic book conventions. It is also reported that people were paying full price for a movie just to watch the trailer, then leave the theatre before the main feature even started. Thank God that this movie was the '80s and not the '20s when the trailers were shown at the end of the movie. For an extra bonus casting round, Sean Young was originally cast as Vicky Vale, but a horse riding accident put an end to that as she broke her collarbone. To find a replacement, Kim Basinger was hired a week before shooting commenced. The horse riding scene that Young was training for was dropped from the movie due to Young's accident. 3. A troubled and secretive production. Originally, the filmmakers considered filming the entirety of Batman on the Warner Brothers lot in Burbank, California, but the media interest in the film made them change the location. So on October 10th, 1988, Batman started filming at Pinewood Studios here in the UK. Filming finished on February the 14th, 1989, with 80 days of main shooting and 86 days of second unit shooting. Throughout the entire shoot, filming was so secretive that any leaked photo would have been easy to locate the would-be photographer. It was so secretive that the unit publicist was offered and refused £10,000 for the first picture of Jack Nicholson as the Joker. The police were actually called in, however, when 2 reels of footage were stolen. The 2 reels were around the 20-minute mark of footage. Due to all the secrecy and behind-the-scenes problems, Burton would later go on to call the filming "It was just torture, the worst period of my life." To add tension to the behind-the-scenes turmoil, the Writers Guild of America went on strike. Sam Hamm, the writer of the movie, was not allowed to perform rewrites while the strike was going on. Due to this, Burton hired Warren Scarron, who worked previously on Burton's Beetlejuice, to do a few rewrites of Batman. Screenwriters Jonathan Gems and Charles McCowan were also brought in to do rewrites while the movie was being filmed. Out of these 3 writers, only Scarron would receive a screenplay credit along with Hamm. Due to these writers coming on board, Hamm criticised the rewrites, but put the blame on Warner Brothers and not the writers or even the director. Burton has explained, "I don't understand why that became such a problem. We started out with a script that everyone liked, although we recognised it needed a little work." 2. Robin was supposed to be in the movie. In 1995, we got our first appearance of Robin in the Batman movie timeline. However, this wasn't supposed to be his first introduction. In early drafts of the '89 Batman, right up until production was supposed to start, Robin was in the film in some form or another. Writer Sam Hamm's initial scripts featured Robin, Dick Grayson helping Batman in the final act, to which this was changed also. The final act was supposed to be Batman chasing Joker through the streets of Gotham when Robin helps him. Storyboards of this sequence do exist, and were available on the deluxe DVD and Blu-ray editions as a completed scene. The scene was voiced by Kevin Conroy as Batman, Mark Hamill as the Joker, and Jason Hillhouse as Dick Grayson. A who's who of upcoming talent or established young stars were considered for the role. Kiefer Sutherland was even offered the role, but he turned it down, stating, "I imagine myself wearing yellow tights on the big screen. I didn't realise that Tim Burton planned to make the film much darker than the '60s Batman." Another person who was actively sought after for the role was Eddie Murphy. 1. The Joker wasn't meant to be the reason Bruce Wayne is Batman. In comic lore, Bruce Wayne's parents are taken away from him by a mugger called Joe Chill. Chill was first introduced in Detective Comics number 33 and was created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. He wasn't given his full name until 14 issues later in Detective Comics 47, as this is the issue that Batman discovers who Chill is and what he did. What makes his encounter more amazing is the fact that Chill's own goons turn on him as they find out that Chill was the one who created the Batman on that fateful night after the Waynes were murdered. They take out Chill and fail to realise how priceless the information is that Chill had. For the movie, it's Jack Napier who does the deed. It's a twist that some comic fans still hate to this day, myself included, and according to Sam Hamm, it wasn't him who put it in the movie. That was something that Tim had wanted early on, and I had a bunch of arguments with him and wound up talking him out of it for as long as I worked on the script. But once the script went into production, there was a writer's strike and I wasn't able to go to London. They brought in other writers. You can see why this idea was used, as it gives more strength to the reason why Batman wants to stop Joker even more before the final act. You can see the anger in Wayne's eyes when he watches the broadcasted Joker. The origin of Joe Chill taking away his parents was put on screen in Christopher Nolan's epic masterpiece trilogy, The Dark Knight Trilogy, and some assume that the scene in Joker when Thomas Wayne is taken out is also done by Chill. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, 8 things you may or may not have known about Batman. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell for future updates, and I'll see each and every one of you soon.